Hello everyone, welcome back to Erit Academy, and in this video we will continue the revision of important topics through PYQs for upcoming prelims. So the first topic will be covered through this question. So the question is, which one of the following tributaries of river Indus feeds the canal system of Bhagra Nangal project? Option A Chenab, B Satluj, C Ravi and D Jhelum. So if these kind of questions fall under the category of factual questions, and if you know the answer, then only you can mark it. And if you don't know, then never ever try to guess that answer, because if you don't know, then you will end up marking the incorrect answer. So the idea of discussing this question is that with the help of this question, we will discuss and demonstrate that how you should cover the river system, their tributaries, the important projects, the sub-tributaries, and what all we should know. So by the end of the discussion of this topic, you will develop very good understanding how you should cover the river system. But before we proceed, the answer of this question is B. Satluj. The Bhakra Nangal project is built upon river Satluj. Now we will develop the holistic understanding about Indus River system. Okay, so Indus River basin has been shown in this diagram. The blue color, the blue shade highlights the Indus River basin along with the India's boundary in the red color. So the Indus River system is the longest and most important rivers in South Asia, and it rises from Bokarchu Glacier on Mount Kailash, and it originates near Mount Kailash mountain and flows eastwards for 2,900 kilometers before emptying into the Arabian Sea. The Indus Valley civilization and its major cities such as Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Dholavira, Lothal, they all are located on the tributaries of the Indus River system, and thus Indus River system plays a very historical and cultural role in the human habitation and the human evolution as well. Now let's have a look at the few tributaries of Indus River. The first one being the Shyok River. The Shyok River is the right bank tributary of the Indus River system, and per se, in particular, Indus River itself. And it is also known as the River of Death. Shyok in Hindi, Shyok means sorrow. So it is also known as the River of Death. The Shyok River originates from the Rimo Glacier, which is one of the tongue of Siachen Glacier, and Siachen Glacier is located in Karakoram range. One of the important information which we should not miss is that in 2019, Colonel Chewang Rinchen Bridge was constructed over the Shyok River in Ladakh region, and it was built by BRO linking Durbuk and Daulat Beg Old Day region, and it is also called as India's highest altitude all-weather permanent bridge in eastern Ladakh. Another important tributary of river Indus is Suru River. The Suru River originates from the Dev Sai mountains and flows in the opposite direction of the Indus River. Hence, it is also called as the obsequent tributary of river Indus. As the name suggests, Dev Sai is the combination of two words. Dev means giant, and Sai, shadow. For centuries, it is believed that this place is haunted by giants. That's why it is called as land of giants. Okay, and thus it came into being. The weather is quite unpredictable here. Sometimes it starts snowing in summer as well. Also, the famous location Kargil is located on the banks of Suru River. Okay, and there is one dam, Chutak Dam, is over Suru River, is built over the Suru River. Also, Burzil La Pass lies on the path of Suru River. Now we will discuss the important tributary of the Indus River system, that is Jhelum River. Jhelum River is mentioned in Rigvedic time, also in Rigveda it has been mentioned, and it is mentioned as Vitasta River. Jhelum River originates from the Verinag spring, and which is located in the Pir Panjal range of Kashmir. Jhelum River is the lifeline of Kashmir Valley people because it plays very important role in feeding the Wular Lake, and there is another important tributary of Jhelum River, that is Kishan Ganga River. Kishan Ganga River, as encircled on the screen, The project was in news because this project uh, was objected, the construction was objected by Pakistan and it went to International Court of Arbitration. But the court verdict came in favor of India and thus we are continuing to build the project. Now we will discuss about the Chenab River. Chenab River originates from the Jaskar range in Lahore Spiti, as you can see in the diagram, and it originates near the Baralacha La Pass in Himachal Pradesh, as shown on the diagram. The two streams, Chandra and River Bhaga, they come together, they merge, and they form River Chandra Bhaga, which is also known as the River Chenab. Finally, Chenab merges with Satluj River before Satluj merges into the Indus River. In 2021, Government of India approved 850 megawatt Ratle hydroelectric project on Chenab River. So here what I have done, I have kept a few important power projects built on the Chenab River. The first one being the Salal hydroelectric project, the second one Baglihar, the third one Dulhasti, and the fourth one Ratle. So UPSC has habit of giving these power projects, and they, as the question in the topic which we have taken in starting, the question itself was asking which this power project is built on which river. So like that, sometimes they give the match the following options, two columns they will give, and they will ask us to match it that the power project is built on which dam. Also, there is Baralacha Pass has been mentioned on the screen so that you can correlate the distance from where the river is originating and the project where they are built on. Okay. Now we will discuss about the Ravi River. Ravi River originates near Rohtang Pass in Kullu Hills, that is in Himachal Pradesh, and it flows between the Pir Panjal range and the Dhauladhar range. Ravi River forms the international border between India and Pakistan during its course. Ravi River merges with Chenab River as shown on the screen. Also, we will discuss few important dams or the projects which are located on the Ravi River. Chamera being the first one, it is there in Himachal Pradesh. Tin Dam, which is also known as the Ranjit Sagar Dam, is located in Punjab. Then we have Uj multi-purpose project and Shahpur Kandi project. Okay, in this diagram you will see that this is the Shahpur Kandi project, so you can have a fair idea of the location. Also, the Uj multi-purpose project, it is built upon the Uj river, which is basically the tributary of Ravi river. Okay, so this image will give you a fair understanding about other links, other dams and rivers as well. Next we have is Beas River. Beas River originates in Himachal Pradesh near Rohtang Pass at the southern end of the Pir Panjal, and it is a relatively small tributary, small river, and it flows entirely inside the Indian territory. And it crosses the Dhauladhar range and meets Satluj at the Harike in Punjab, as you can see on the screen. Okay, now we will discuss few important dams or projects on the Beas River. So we have two dams which are important. The first one being the Pando Dam on Beas River and the second one being the Pong Dam. So these are the two important names which you should remember and you should be able to locate if it has been asked by UPSC, especially when they are asking match the following. Okay. Now we'll quickly discuss about the Satluj River. Satluj River, as shown in the diagram, it originates from Tibetan Plateau, again near Mount Kailash. The origin of Satluj River is located. It rises from the Mansarovar lakes in Tibet and near the mighty Indus River source. And it starts journey northwest and enters India near Shipkila. So here you can see Shipkila pass on the India and Tibet border. It passes through the Great Himalayas, making deep gorges and enters Punjab plains at Nanda Devi, where the famous Bhakra Dam is constructed. So the question with which we started the discussion of this topic was exactly the same. That Bhakra Dam is located or is constructed on which river? Okay, we have already seen that Beas River joins Satluj at Harike in Punjab. And Satluj is the river which forms the international boundary between India and Pakistan uh, during its flow in Punjab state. Now we will see few important dams on Satluj River. First one, which has been already mentioned in the question, is the Bhakra Nangal Dam. The second one being the Karcham Wangtu hydroelectric plant, and the third one is Natpa Jhakri Dam. We will also locate them on map. So here you can see is your Bhakra Dam. Then we have Karcham hydroelectric plant and the Natpa Jhakri. So this is about Satluj River. So to summarize, if we understand the extent or the drainage area in kilometer square of the Indus River system, so majority of the Indus River system flows through Jammu and Kashmir. Then second in coverage wise, second will be your Himachal Pradesh, and the third one will be Punjab. But don't miss these three states. If anytime UPSC is giving this option whether Indus River system flows through Chandigarh or not, then you should mark yes. Whether through Haryana or not, yes. Rajasthan or not, yes. So Indus River system drainage basin also covers drainage basin. We are not talking about Indus River per se. We are talking about the drainage area, drainage of the whole river system. So yes, Rajasthan, Haryana, and Chandigarh. We will mark it. Okay. Now, other important details which you should know is that there is already Indus Water Treaty, which is a water distribution treaty between India and Pakistan. It was signed in 1960 and it was brokered mediated by World Bank. Here, Indus Water Treaty divides the Indus River system into uh, eastern and western river system. So, eastern rivers are Ravi, Byas, and Satluj, and western rivers are CGI, that is Chenab, Jhelum, and Indus. Okay, so treaty talks about unrestricted use of water. So eastern river system has been allocated to India and western river system has been allocated to Pakistan. It doesn't mean that India cannot use the western rivers water. Treaty specifically mentions that non-consumptive needs, which means India can use western rivers water for its purposes such as electricity production. Got it? Second is irrigation and for storages also. So sometimes if UPSC is giving you that India, according to Indus Water Treaty, India cannot use the western rivers, that is Indus, Jhelum, and Chenab, for storage purposes, for irrigation purposes, then don't mark it wrong. Yes, India can use it. Okay. To monitor the Indus Water Treaty, whether it is being respected or not, we have permanent Indus Commission has been set up, which is there to manage the treaty. And share-wise, treaty allocates 80% water of Indus River system to Pakistan. So if sometime UPSC is asking share-wise, uh, how much water is going to Pakistan or India? So 80% of water of Indus River system has been shared to Pakistan. So this is it for this first topic. And the whole idea of discussing it holistically was to make you understand that how UPSC can ask question on one topic, what all can be asked. So this way you should prepare other tributaries, other river systems. Okay. Now we will take the second topic. The second topic which we have taken today is with respect to the layers of the atmosphere. So the question first, let's read the question itself. Ozone layer, which absorbs the ultraviolet radiation, is found in which one of the following layers of the atmosphere? So I am very sure that you would have read NCERT's. This basic information at least all of you know. But what is the idea of taking this simple question is that we will cover through this, we will cover holistically about all the atmospheric layers and the usual information, the unusual informations where UPSC might ask questions. And this area, there are still so many information which UPSC has not asked in exam, and potential, it is one of the high potential area, high potential topic. Okay. So ozone layer, where is it located? It is located in the stratosphere. So the answer is D. Now let's have a look at the layers of Earth's atmosphere. So Earth's atmosphere is all around us. Most people take it for granted. Definitely, we are taking it for granted, and we are polluting the atmosphere. But the important role which atmosphere plays is that it shields us from the radiations and prevents us the precious water from evaporating into the space. So you can say that the Earth's atmosphere is making the environment conducive, or the it is making Earth habitable for humans. So it keeps the planet warm and provides us with the oxygen to breathe. The atmosphere extends from the Earth's surface to more than 10,000 kilometers above the planet. So this 10,000 kilometers are divided into five distinct layers. So we have troposphere in front of us, then stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. Having a look one by one at all these layers, let's start with the first layer, that is the troposphere. So troposphere it starts from ground and extends up to 18 kilometers. Okay, but why there is a variation? It is written 0 to 12 and dash 18 kilometer, because the equator, above equator, the thickness of the troposphere is high, is, you can say, it is thickest, and it is thinnest above the poles, just 8 kilometers. Okay, that's why we see the variation in the thickness of the troposphere above equator and above poles. You must have noticed the temperature inversion also. So if you notice on the screen, then the temperature in the troposphere decreases as we further go up in the altitude, or higher in the layer. The layer will get colder. So now if you are feeling heat in northern part of India, you know where you will get the cold atmosphere. You will get it higher in the latitude if you go towards Himalayas. Okay, the boundary between the troposphere and the next layer is known as the tropopause. Second one, we have the next information which you should know is that in tropopause you will find the hot air balloon in the higher altitudes, and the passenger plane as well. The stratosphere is the next atmosphere, which extends up to 11 from 11 kilometer to 50 kilometers. Unlike troposphere, the temperature in this layer increases with elevation. Here you will find the ozone layer, and ozone layer plays very important role in trapping the ultraviolet radiations, and that is the reason that the temperature also increases in stratosphere. Next, altitude wise, mesosphere, it starts from 40 kilometers up and extends up to 90 kilometers. Temperature, here you will find that near the top of this layer, the temperature drops to the lowest in the Earth's atmosphere, that is about minus 90 degree Celsius. Okay, so there is inversion happening. In troposphere, it is decreasing. In the stratosphere, it is increasing. In mesosphere, the temperature is again decreasing. In mesosphere, one of the important thing which happen is you will find meteors. Here, the rocks or the asteroids, meteors which are falling uh, on the Earth, they will burn up in this atmosphere, in this layer of the atmosphere, and thus they form meteors. Scientists still don't know much about this layer, and aeroplanes and research balloons don't operate this high, and satellites operate but higher up than the mesosphere. Okay, so this is the place where the meteors burn up, and before they end, when they are coming towards the Earth. Next we have is the thermosphere. So the thermosphere starts from 80 kilometer and it extends up to, in some diagrams you will find it 600, 700 or 800 kilometers. Okay, so thermosphere, it is the layer which soaks up X-rays and ultraviolet energy from the sun. In fact, it helps in protecting us on the ground. So we have seen the altitude, or with respect to kilometers. If we see it with respect to temperature, then you will find that temperature, the ups and downs will be there. It depends upon the ups and downs of the solar energy as well. But in general, the temperature increases. Also, you will find here auroras. So you must have heard about the auroras. Basically, these are the charged particles in the thermosphere, and these beautiful celestial lights, which are known as auroras. There are two types of auroras. UPSC has been asking this, that aurora borealis and aurora australis. So where they are formed, northern pole people will see aurora borealis or aurora australis. So this is what you have to tell in the comment section. So these are the luminous effects of electromagnetic phenomena which are visible in the higher latitude. It can be of red color, green color, white arcs, and different pattern will be formed in the night sky. Okay, so this is with respect to the thermosphere. In fact, the International Space Station orbits Earth at an average altitude of somewhere around 400 kilometers. That is within the thermosphere. Okay. Next we have exosphere. So the exosphere, it again starts from 800 kilometer onwards up to 10,000 kilometer, and it merges with it merges, there is no boundary. So the lower boundary is known as the exobase, and it starts from 800 kilometer onwards, and there is no firm defined top. Instead, it just fades further out into the space. Okay, so this is about exosphere. You can also see the satellites and the spaceships, they operate in this region and higher into the exosphere. Okay, now we'll see other details related to the layers. So in this image, you can see that we have kept different information again related to different sphere. So troposphere is the sphere which is known for holding all the Earth's water vapor, and the weather phenomena, the cloud, rain-bearing clouds, you can find it within this sphere. So be it the cumulonimbus cloud or the stratocumulus cloud or the cirrus clouds, you will find them within this sphere. And you can see on the screen there is a correlation with the Mount Everest has been shown in the diagram. Okay. Next, coming to stratosphere, you will find the ozone layer here. This is what has been asked in the question. So the stratosphere is very dry, so clouds formation is very rare. Okay, it contains the atmosphere's ozone, that is triplet molecules made from 3 oxygen atoms. This is also one information, that ozone layer contains uh, three triplet molecules of oxygen atom. Okay, at this elevation, ozone protects life on the earth from sun's harmful ultraviolet radiation. That's, it is comparatively very stable layer with little circulation. For that reason, commercial airlines tend to fly in the lower stratosphere to keep flights smooth. There is a lack of vertical movement. That's why there will be stability in this particular particular sphere. Okay. One disadvantage of stability is that aerosol particles from volcanic eruption or even from smoke, wildfires, this layer has accumulated a lot of pollutants known as the chlorofluorocarbons, or you can also call as CFCs, which are causing harm to the ozone layer, and this protective ozone layer is getting depleted because of these CFCs. Okay. Stratosphere is also known for polar stratospheric clouds. So these polar stratospheric clouds, scientists have found that they play a very important role in Antarctic ozone destruction, and they are occurring with increasing frequency in the Arctic as well. So these are the high altitude clouds which are formed only at very low temperature, and they are destroying ozone in two ways. They provide the first one is that they provide a surface which converts the good chlorine into reactive chlorine. So the ozone destroying forms, and they remove nitrogen compounds that moderate the destructive impact of chlorine. So basically, in those sphere, you will find nitrogen, they moderate the destruction, but this reactive nature of chlorine is getting increased by the surface which is being provided by the polar stratospheric clouds. So the atmosphere above the Arctic has been colder than usual, and the polar stratospheric clouds have lasted into spring also. As a result, ozone levels have been decreasing in Arctic region. So sometimes if it comes in the exam that which types of clouds are related or is associated with the ozone depletion in the polar region, be it the Arctic or the Antarctic, what we should mark? We should mark the polar stratospheric clouds. Next we have is the mesosphere. So in mesosphere, you will find what we are going to discuss here is one of the important and unique information, that is sprites. So these sprites are called as the lightning sprites. Basically, these are electrical discharges high in the Earth's atmosphere, and they are associated with the thunderstorms. They are not born in the same clouds that send us rain. So image wise, if you I have kept an image for you, so they look like this jellyfish. Okay, and the storms basically they happen in Earth's troposphere level. Okay, that is somewhere up to 18 kilometers. But these lightning sprites, they are also known as the red sprites, they happen in Earth's mesosphere. However, the scientists are reading what are the reasons behind it, but they are associated with the thunderstorms. Okay. Next we have is within mesosphere itself we will also find noctilucent clouds. So these noctilucent clouds are extremely rare, and they are very high clouds seen in the night sky and usually on the clear summer nights. They will become visible at the same time when we see the brightest stars in the sky. And these clouds, let me show you, these clouds look like this. They are far too high and they don't have any effect on the weather conditions on the ground. And as you can see in the screen, they come, however, it's not visible whether they are made up of ice or not, but if you can see from the color itself, they are composed of very small water ice crystals formed on minute particles of dust, or possibly these dusts are from the cosmic origin. And noctilucent clouds form only during the summer when temperature in mesosphere are coldest. Okay, so these are the information which I wanted to discuss. These are the extra information which you should know from the exam points of view. Next, now we will discuss about the ionosphere. Ionosphere is the sphere which helps in radio transmission, and in fact the radio waves transmitted from the earth are reflected back to the earth by this layer. So in order to understand that how these ionospheres are formed, the ionospheres are formed by the high energy X-rays and the ultraviolet light from the sun, which are constantly colliding with the gas and molecules and atoms, and thus they release ions, and these ions will come together with higher concentration of ions and the free electrons at different levels, different altitudes. Together they form ionosphere. The ionosphere during daytime will consist of three layers, that is D layer, E layer and F layer. And during night time we have only F layer. Okay, so hope it's clearly visible to all of you. So these are the three main regions of the ionosphere, that is D, E and F. There is no sharp boundaries, and these boundaries vary according to season, according to day or night, and the altitude varies. There is no fixed timing. Okay, D being the innermost, D layer explains why the AM radio gets disrupted during the daytime. During the daytime, what happens that D layer, the ionization effect will be low, and the net ionization effect in this layer is low, but the loss of wave energy is great due to frequent collision of the electrons. This is the reason that why high frequency radio waves are not reflected by the D layer and they suffer loss of energy. Thus, the AM radio will disappear, the AM broadcast band stations during daytime, sometime they will disappear, the connection will disappear. But the absorption is small at the night and greatest at the midday. So as you can see in the diagram, the frequency of the waves are varying. For D layer, if we have to communicate, the a small wavelengths, a small frequency is being used, but for F layer we are using higher frequency wavelengths. Okay, so that is the role of D layer, E layer and F layer. In order to understand it better, you can also understand it with the help of this diagram. So the D, E and F layer, they will be there available during the daytime, but D and E disappear at night, and further they have categorized F1 and F2, they also combine during the night time. So these were the information which I wanted to tell you from exams point of view. And this way you should, whenever you are preparing any topic, cover it holistically, then only it will pay results. And whenever you are covering them, try to understand them with interest. Okay, now there is a homework for all of you. The homework is that you have to do some extra reading, and you have to put that extra information in the question. The extra read is about Karman line and blue jets and elves. Okay, so hope you enjoyed today's session. Thank you for watching. We'll come up with more interesting and exam relevant topics in future. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.